Okay, so for Sketch 66, I wanted to dive back into some of our racks, and I was thinking about the bouncy baller the other day. And this is from an early sketch that we had done. And it looks like C4 is where we want to start out. So let's drop in a C4. And let's see what we get. All right, cool. So let's increase the length of this note so we have some runway and it doesn't reset so often. And in fact, we can go ahead and, well, let's see here. I think we should drag this instrument. No, I won't let us. So we need to group this instrument. And let's split the keychains up into C4. I'm going to Control D this and just use my arrow keys to move these so they match up with here. And we'll do that one more time. Cool. Okay, so now we can have a bunch of notes going on at once. Call this bouncer. So now it's just a matter of getting the right automations going. All right, let's, oops. Yep, unlink that and bring this over here. Cool. And I do believe we need to get rid of some of this release tail. And I'm just gonna, for the sake of speeding things up, copy that, paste it over here. And adjust the start to right in there. Maybe we'll tweak things a little bit. And same with this one. Now let's get some others going here. We'll adjust this up one, and we just need to map this macro to. Let's see what's going on in here. I think we have everything looks good there. I think we just need to map this to here. And also Oh, nope, that did it. Cool. So this would be D sharp. And we need another note for D sharp. Let's hold down Control and click and drag. And Control U, quantize that thing. So now we just need another operator here that's tuned a little bit, and let's automate this other macro knob. So since we have a bunch of unlinked automation loops, we're getting some nice polyrhythms going with some of these little bouncers. So let's go ahead and push play all over again and see, make sure we're getting I think we need to remove our extra long reverb tails from these. And let's tune this one so that it sounds kind of like its own thing. Cool. Of course, if we speed things up, it might also sound a little interesting, but not too crazy interesting. Let's try to drop in some effects. So it's really easy to make some textures with this bouncy baller thing. I like the kind of physics feel to the sounds that come out of it. It's like kind of like when you drop a marble on the ground and it just does a nice little bouncy thing. Okay, let's pull this in here. There we go. Now I want to bring over a audio effect that I built ages ago. Well, there's a couple of them actually. There's this tonerizer one, there's a Looper X3 live performance device, and a Looper 2. So let's drag all these over. If we can, I think we just need to hold on these folders, and there we go. Okay, cool. And we don't need this folder anymore, so I like to clean up my messes as much as possible, make my life easier down the road. All right, so the looper. Oh, first, actually, the tonerizer. And this might need some healthy automation. lot of bass coming off this tonerizer the way we pulled this tune down. I am hearing just a little bit more attack on this white noise here. Cool. Let's clean that up a little bit. Move our start point somewhere there, seems good. Now we will bust out a tremolo. Definitely because it has an old school gear, sort of lo-fi quality to it that is, I like. Alright, let's summon an operator and dive into one of these looper effects. And this essentially just has a lot of routing inside of it using the gate, sidechain, audition, and it's sidechaining from itself. We built things similar to this for our feedback loops. And I'm just using some delays here set to 16, so that's about 8 seconds maybe. It could be 16 seconds, I'm not sure. So we can try to play some notes in there. And this, you know, we could use the looper, but this is a little bit more of a just like a really long delay effect, basically. And we can also drop other effects inside of the loop section in here. Like we've got our delay array. We could put effects in between the delay array. So let's play some notes. And maybe we need to turn up our input so we can hopefully hear these notes in a bit. If this is working right, I guess we should turn the feedback up a little bit. And I built this to use in live performance situations. There we go, now we're hearing some notes come back to us. And if we turn this in down, whatever we play through, it does not go into the loop. Let's turn things up just a little bit. So something like this is kind of useful for, you know, you want to drop it anywhere in the project, and you can turn the feedback down, and of course it just behaves like a regular delay feedback. And of course, this is very much like impermanent. You know, if we hit this power button, we lose our loop. And the loop link, if we adjust this, we can get some interesting effects from those delays inside the delay array that's inside of this. Let's turn this down just a little bit. This will cause our loop to sort of fade out over time. And it's really useful if you drop effects inside of here. You can get, you know, you can create some cool lo-fi effects. So each time the loop goes around and around, it gets even more distorted. But if you're not careful, you can get a lot of really high resonance of things. Then it basically is in a feedback loop at this point. So you really have to sort of play around with a lot and get the right flavoring. So you can hear the effects now on the loop itself. And we'll definitely hear a lot of resonance happening as we are pushing the same sound kind of through this resonator. So unless we have, unless we automate something like this note here, we're going to hear a lot of the same tone, resonance tones coming through. Yeah, as you can hear, this kind of just distorted tone. So let's go ahead and record some notes here. And let's drop a probability gate. And we'll have this level just kind of easing up over time, very subtly. And since we have the same set of notes coming through, essentially, you know, as long as this thing is set to in, we're going to be hearing, you know, a lot of the same notes stacking on top of each other. Unless, of course, we automate that in knob like we did here. And we only have it turning on every now and then, and it's not turning on exactly the same as the notes, the timing of the notes coming through our operator. So as long as we keep this feedback loop down a little bit, things should kind of keep recycling through. All right, let's give ourselves more length on this automation here. There we go. And playing around with the loop length will give us some nice granular sounding effect. Maybe I'll push this up a little higher. So we probably need to be sending in to our looper a little bit more. Yeah, Yes, and you can sort of hear the stuttering effect we're getting as we're adjusting the loop length overall. Let's definitely throw on some noise every now and then. Awesome. Okay. I think a tremolo also here could be nice. We can give it a little bit variable rate. Sounds like this bouncer thing is almost reminding me of like a little, like birds or something in the background, like in a jungle somewhere far away. Tone looper. Okay, let's summon another operator. And for this one, I wanted to bust out the other effect, the other looper. It is a little bit more, definitely a lot different than this one. This one has, yeah, this is different than the other one, I should say. And this essentially has 3 loop sections. We've got an input to 2 of them, and we've got them separated out by colors. This third one behaves a little bit different than these, just in that it lets the dry sound through if this is set to 0. And I believe these are all set to the same time. We will see. I think it's 16 seconds. So you can build yourself up a nice array of rhythms, really. And it's really easy to adjust the timing of things. We've got this brain section, and essentially there are just 3 delays. And we've got the delays set right now at 5 seconds each. So wow, that's a, you know, there is 16 seconds. So we've got 5 seconds, 5 seconds, and then the last one is 1 second. So that makes a total of 16. So if your set is at 120, obviously that'll sync up. But you can adjust these to be, you know, using the sync mode instead of the time mode. And you can have as many of these delays as you want to create as much of a time loop. So yes, as long as this thing is really low but not 0, we don't hear any input come through. We will hear input come through as long as we turn these up. We'll hear them go into the loop, so we want to keep this on 0 so we can basically hear the dry go through it. So I'm curious, I'm going to just hold down Control, so we got that little plus sign there. I'm going to drop this over here, and I'm going to automate some of these. So that way we're going to get our weird bouncy ball effect going into the looper as well. All right, let's clean that up. So immediately, you know, we're getting a nice variety of an odd assortment of rhythms and sounds happening. Guess we don't really have anything going on here. If we want, we could use our wet and dry effects. It's in the utilities. It's wet and dry. We could use the on-off container. I have mine mapped to an auto hotkey, which is, and we could drag this in there and put the whole thing on a wet and dry, which, you know, could be useful for certain situations. That way we could probably switch between the, I shouldn't say probably, definitely switch between the this looper and whatever's going into it. Unless we just keep this in at 0. So as long as this is above 0, we're sending into the third looper. As if it's at 0, we get the dry coming through, and this looper continues as long as we keep the feedback up. I think I'll turn the feedback down just a bit, and we'll keep this down at 0 for a good spell. So that way we also get the so if we hit stop a bunch, I think we have to actually turn off our loopers to here. So now if we hit play, we're going to kind of hear what it's going to sound like as it builds up. And it'll take a little while to build up. Let's move this chonker over into our effects group. And we need to make ourselves some notes for this track here. Okay, cool. So I'm going to make the loop length time of that a bit longer, and this way we're going to get some off rhythms happening here. Also, definitely these loopers are an interesting way to build up a song. Especially when you automate a lot of things inside of them and you make the loop lengths of those automations all at odd lengths. Okay, let's clean this one up. Definitely starting to hear a lot of resonance coming out of this one. You could sort of just kill those sections. You could also turn this feedback down just a little bit more. That sounds like also through here. Feedback loops are a tricky thing. They can really take over very easily. So let's get a compressor in there. I do like the kind of close-up, dry feel we have going on here. Everything is very intimate and going to automate the frequency of these just so that they kind of shift around. It's almost like our own makeshift phaser type effect. All right. Let's clean this up. And it sounds like our bouncer is not doing anything at this point, so we have to double check on what's happening with that. And I'm not seeing anything come through, which is really interesting to me. And it could be this bug that I found where because I believe we have a gator here, yeah, and the gate, the speaker on, yeah, can, as long as a lot of notes are coming through this speaker, the thing can just die on us. Which is interesting because it wasn't dying on us before when we initially set it up. And the only way I found to fix it is to delete it and then bring it back in, but that didn't seem to work. Let's try it again, but maybe that's not going to work for us. The only other way I can think is to fix this we can nest, well, let's just duplicate this and then nest this in here, and then we'll just make this one off. I don't know if this is going to work. We will have to just find out, and then we'll map this to that, and we'll make it and instead of automating this activation speaker button, we'll just automate this on-off switch for this gate. So yeah, I mapped the wrong thing. Let's try this again. Not sure if that'll... It looks like it's off now, so we want it to be on, except when this thing is all the way at the top. So I think we want that 127 and that 126. Yeah, it looks like that's kind of what we want there. Oh no, so we actually do want it off because I have this thing muted. Or I could turn that on and make it reversed. Now we have to start this over because it's... Let's see if... Oh, there's a whole other thing happening. Shoot, I didn't even realize to look that... I don't know how that happened, but the loop section got way off. So we weren't even sending notes into this thing. Sheesh. Well, let's hope this gator thing still holds up. Let me just mute all these others, or solo this, I should, and turn off this looper here so that we can just hear. Cool, I think that is working properly. So we didn't actually need to fix it, but the fix we put in at least still works okay. Awesome. Okay, so I had some other racks in this old for future sketches folder. We've got a bunch of these tone generators. Let's pull this one in. Abyss pulses, I believe, from a very early tutorial video that I did. A very simple little rack sound maker. I'm not sure if it's gonna be what we're looking for here. All right, I think we need to unsolo this. And let's just pull this up and hear what we get. Seems like we've got 3 rows in here. And one is kind of, okay, just like a freaky texture. I believe all of these use this crackle as a sound source. We'll keep this one a little low. Cool. I think I'm just going to automate some of these knobs to move around. And if you decide to use these noise generating racks, I do recommend rendering them out at the highest resolution you can, because a lot of the Ableton effects just simply sound more crisp and clear when rendered out at 192. And of course, once you render it out at 192, you can convert it back down to 44, 48, whatever you like to work at. Let's try pulling this out into its own. It sounds like we probably want to turn our feedbacks down just a bit here, because we're getting a lot of stacking now that the bouncing layer is all working again. And we'll just leave this pulse one off for now. Let's automate that. And I think if we move this tremolo to before our Looper X3 rack, we'll get some really interesting stereo stuff happening. Whoops, I did not want to do that. That will mess things up like before. There, that's a lot better. Cool. Now let's summon an analog. Cool, and I think this sounds pretty wicked coming through this this chunker. Very farty bass. Could tremolo it out, which helps mellow it out. Definitely want some of that frequency automation in there. Cool. And if I remember, actually I don't remember exactly which sketch we did that had, oh gosh, Ableton just freaking me out. Let's see, let's all files, and let's refer to our little legend here. There was a drum and bass one we did And let's see, lo-fi ambient, I think it's, yeah, number 62. There was a, let's just cancel that. 62, we had a funny little Farfisa beat. Yep, old cheesy beat. Let's drag that layer in. And we don't need these extra. And I'm thinking a little bit of this echo reverb. Let's have a listen to this inside of our weird island group. Let's definitely tune this. Not hearing much of a kick. We might have turned the kick off. Yeah, I remember us retiring the kick from that last sketch. Cool. And here's all the effects from that last sketch. With a lot of nice automations in there, but kind of an almost overpowering thing happening with those. So we can drop those effects inside of a wet and dry. And just only have that turn on every now and then, or just leave it low. We can turn this on every now and then. Don't think we need that EQ for now. Cool. I'm going to automate the probability. right, I think this little snare doohickey thing needs a bit of a volume adjustment. I'm curious what a tremolo will sound like on it as well. Cool. I think a little reggae kind of sound could be interesting. Cool. Nope, I don't think we wanted to do that. Let's not adjust the end. There we go. Cool. So we've got a nice little playful piece going on here. I think I would you know, spend a lot more time probably finessing and tweaking some of the melodic elements. The bass seems a bit in your face. Maybe we just need to get a sidechain compressor on this bass also. Yeah, I think the sidechain definitely helped tame the bass a bit. Cool. There's so much more detail we could add. Maybe too much bass on there. I am curious where the crunchy sounding's coming from. I think it's from this texture, actually. Or one of the loopers, I think. Okay, no, maybe it's actually from this. Let's see, is it from the Pulse 2? Nope, from the crackles. We'll just keep that really low then. Kind of a silly piece. Could use a little bit of like muted trumpet or something, I think would be funny. Give it a little bit of a human touch. And let's group the whole thing and try some weird effects in there. Now, this may not make any sense ultimately, but I think it's one of those things that we definitely want to wet and dry on. Let's get a mapping going. Cool. So we want to automate that. I think we got to set things up in that classic way where we get one of these gates coming from the group 2. Group. Yup. And then we'll have this sins only. And then let's move our little effects monster in there. We'll start automating. I must say, I was never a huge fan of the beat repeat, but in this context, flipping through a lot of these presets, it's kind of like the little details it's adding in. It's a lot of little random details. And again, this is we've got this effects selection rack, which is this thing here. Probably should go in our utilities, actually. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and move that over into audio utilities. Effects selection container. And inside of this, we have an on-off group, and we can just put whatever effects inside of each one of these. And so for this beat repeat select, I put all of the presets, all of these. So there are 13 of them. And I think we filled up to 13, and then 14 are just empty. So this effect select just jumps between them all. So super useful for getting a lot of mileage out of the Ableton Effects presets. Cool. Let's clean this up. And if you ask or wonder why I clean this up, the reason is it makes these project files a lot smaller, because obviously the more dots we have, the more space, you know, or I guess the larger the Ableton project needs to be. So, go figure. So I just try to, whoops, not delete them, but clean them up. There we go. I'm almost curious what this will sound like on our cheesy farfeezy beat. I think unless we really up the dry wet, we're not going to notice too much. It's a pretty fun dubby little song. Still has a lot of tone. Whoops, happening right kind of around in the 300 zone, I think. If you pull down around the 300 zone a little bit, things sound a lot deeper, I find. This fruity fluty. Also needs a bit of sidechain compressor on it. Cool. I like this little bit of noise coming in every now and then, kind of to the beat. A lot of interesting things happening with all the automations, and let's get a little probability gate on this this bass here, so it's not so the same thing over and over again. Let's check out, see what keys we're looking at here. Looking at C0 as I think the lowest. So we'll just take that up to and let's go all the way up to and get rid of C3 and above. Cool, and now we can pull this down. And our bass will be a little bit more not on all the time. And I'm gonna tremolo on this. There we go. Just have a subtle tremolo. We could do a couple of different ones. We could also bust out our in our racks. We've got this utility. This is a left-right split. And so we could drop a little tremolo in there, drop a little tremolo in here, and as there are different rates, let's adjust this down a little bit. So now we've got a little bit of sort of variance between the left and right happening now. We can obviously wet dry the whole thing. Not the best sounding hi-hat, now that I'm having a chance to really sit with it for a bit. I do like some hiss in there. That's hiss always gives it that old gear, almost like a bad cable or just dirty old gear kind of feel. Tape hiss, it's a classic classic thing, but with this hiss you can, you know, automate it and make it do tricks to the beat. Let's clean that up. Now, about that hi-hat. Cheesy beats. Probably want to get a high pass on both of these. A bit more of a tonal hi-hat. think I like that. It just has a little bit more character, a little bit more quality to it. Tonal qualities. A lot of fun, strange little tones running around in this one. When it usually hits that point, I feel pretty good about, you know, pausing. When I feel like there's like a whole like forest of sounds happening, I kind of feel like, okay, maybe now's the time, good time to pause it or stop, you know, come back to the sketch a couple weeks later or a week later or a day later, and just sort of reevaluate, like, is there too much happening, or like listen, you know, solo out a lot of these and listen to them on their own and try to figure out like where would be a good starting point. Definitely got to get a little mon in there. Play me mon, hey. All right, so feeling good, feeling spry about this one. So let's call it, I think. Yeah, until next time. Keep it funky, keep it fresh, keep it fun, keep it weird. Just keep on keeping on.